I really hope that all creators out there can find happiness in the little things. It's something I'm striving to do so I can really appreciate each and every one of my followers. I'll do my best to share my experience to inspire others to enjoy what they do. First, I just wanted to ask, are you making videos, drawing art, or writing fanfictions, but you feel like you get little attention when you post? Are you feeling down or jealous comparing yourself to other creators? Are you hoping for your follower count to skyrocket so you can be popular? Also, if you think I'm drawing this art right now, I'm not. But the person who is designing my new profile pic is significant to my message, so stick around to find out why. Okay, so becoming popular isn't the end all where you'll feel truly satisfied, but that's the dream of many, to have attention and to be popular. We want our hard work to be noticed, don't we? Or why else put in all the effort? If you ever do succeed in your subscriber goals, you might realize something though. A follower or subscriber count might just feel like a number. You could fall into a trap of just feeling happy seeing a high number and unhappy seeing a low number. It sucks because not only are you letting a number determine your worth or skill, but you're forgetting those are individual people. Think about the one. It could be someone whose day is brightened by what you do. You could be bringing them the happiness to continue through a dark time. A single fan could end up being a great friend. If you can find at least one person to make a friendly connection with, when you make something special for them, that will be far more fulfilling than pleasing a massive crowd. For me, it really mattered when people supported me and stuck with me from the beginning. They loved my imperfect work when I was just starting out. We messaged, watched things, played games, and I even met some in real life at conventions. My earliest work wasn't the prettiest, but it was made with a lot of heart. I wanted to create a beautiful and complicated story game project. For a year, I learned the basics of digital drawing, watched tutorials, and learned some Photoshop, then gave it my best shot. For all that time, I only got a couple of likes on Tumblr. I know what it is like to try super hard and get little positive reception. I didn't let it stop me because I had made a handful of friends, and I found pride in my achievements. I was impressed with myself with every new thing I learned, even if compared to others, it wasn't that skillful. Even if it wasn't pretty to other people, it was pretty to me. I would just stare at my pictures, incredibly odd. I drew my first digital sky, building, even a character's hand, wow. Everything I managed to do surprised me, so the best thing you can do is perhaps not try to impress others, but to impress yourself first. Don't look for flaws, but admire the colors and shapes within your picture. Think of how amazing it is that you were able to take something from your mind and bring it into the real world. Only by encouraging yourself not to give up, you'll make achievements. You'll get better at drawing if you keep going. Then you'll find people who believe in you and people who make you happy with your work. It's super motivating to dedicate things to those people. It could be one friend, it could be a partner, a parent, a sibling. Imagine their smile when they read your story or see your art. Have fun with someone, share your ideas, and listen to theirs. I've written a few fanfictions, and what really motivates me is imagining the reactions certain people in my life will have while reading them. I feel uplifted when friends are live reacting to my stories and enjoying the ideas and plot twists. When it gets hard to write, wanting to make something for my friends keeps me going. If I didn't have those friends, just having my followers react is too impersonal to feel me the same way. When I craft characters for my stories, I like making characters that will entertain me and my friends. Like, we basically came up with a punk lesbian lava robot together that ended up being a wicked and unique villain. I write fics using classic Transformers characters, but I reinvent their personalities, so I say this one got super original. I think when you're having that much fun and putting your love into your stories, it's going to end up good for others anyway. You're not just pumping out content, you know? If you find a way to have fun, it won't feel as draining either. I've been doing a lot of creative work lately, which gets tiring unless you have something to motivate you. I'm about to write another fanfiction, and my fics are as long as novels, so it's a daunting task. What is motivating me is the desire to make a story with an educational and positive message. In all my works, I try to weave in representation for minorities, but of course, by using Transformers. Not just tokenism, which is tossing in representation without much effort. I'm talking like main characters with disabilities or non-conforming genders, homo-romantic relationships that deeply matter to the plot. In my next story, I want to do something for my friends. I want to write main characters with dissociative identity disorder, which is almost always reserved for killers in TV shows, books, and comics. But this time in my story game, they are certainly not villainous. They're your allies working with you to save the world. I've learned a lot about dissociative identity disorder, and I could write about what it's like interacting with alters and how to be respectful, just by showing how the ignorant main character learns and becomes friends with them. I've always wanted to create beautiful stories, but I believe now that if I leave my readers more informed and open-minded after reading my work, to go out into the world and be kinder, that is what would make my work even more beautiful. You might be thinking, I haven't even written one story, and here you are talking about writing several. Of course it's a satisfying feeling to finish something you started, but really, sometimes the key to finishing something is accepting that you don't have to finish it. When you don't put pressure on yourself, and you take your time. How do I personally finish my work? Planning ahead and making sure I'm having fun the whole time. Before you start writing a story and posting it, it can be a good idea to have an idea of how your story ends. I like to make up a rough timeline for my stories before I start them, but that timeline is missing a lot and some things I initially jot down get changed later. I just need a roadmap and then I fill in the gaps over time, but as you write, you might get bored by the slow parts and would really rather get to the most exciting scenes already. To that I say, go ahead and write out of order. Write down those scenes even if you might tweak them in the future. Trust me, you gotta get them out of your system or else you can't start imagining the other scenes of your story. Don't force yourself to strictly write in chronological order, then exhaust yourself when you really just want to get to the good parts. Wouldn't that make you rush your writing anyway? Get it down, clear your head, and most importantly, write what excites you the most. In plenty of my stories, I wrote scenes from the ending before I started from the beginning. Then I wrote the whole story and started to connect the scenes together. I expanded and rewrote the endings once I got to them properly. Making a timeline and writing scenes near the end can also improve your writing for the whole story. You'll be able to sprinkle in great foreshadowing. You'll have a clear goal of how your character will develop up to a certain point. You can think about themes to repeat in your story. Have fun fleshing out your original ideas, just get them down first. Next, be patient. Just because you finished a chapter doesn't mean you should rush to post it. I write my stories in parts, releasing about 10 to 20 chapters at once, so I have plenty of time to edit, reread, and add in more foreshadowing. I can also see how well the chapters connect to each other, and I can keep track of how much a character has changed per section. You don't have to seriously mark in your work part 1, part 2, part 3, etc., but you could make checkpoints in your notes so you have goals of what to make your characters learn or do by when. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're finishing stories or just constantly starting them and never finishing them. Why? Because you are having fun and developing your creative skills along the way. If you're not writing or making art, then you're not going to become a better writer or artist. Also, don't be an artist who resents their past or current art because they know they'll be better in the future. Just do. Just write or draw or video edit or whatever. Be a little selfish and do it for you or your friends. If people make demands for you to work faster, change something, do something for them, whatever you do, do not become a slave to the expectations of others. It is the internet. Strangers will often not remember you have work, school, hobbies, responsibilities, clubs, friends, families. To them, you could just be a source of gay robot art. People will be disappointed if you want to switch fandoms, and that could make you feel pressured to keep producing content for the original fandom you were in. But listen, if you are ever creating something that isn't making you happy, the disappointment of strangers will never be as strong as the unhappiness you will feel. If you want to move on and do other things, just go ahead. Whoever appreciated your old work ought to care enough about you as a person to not wish to force anything upon you. You could always make a new blog if you want to leave an old one oriented on a certain fandom. A fan needs to know that a creator is not a company. They have a life and can move on. You are worthy. You don't need mass approval or approval from bigger creators. Yes, some people throw their OCs or fanfics at me, hoping for my stamp of approval. But please, don't think I'm a special authority figure. People with more followers are not superior to you. We are all fans, a collection of random dorks. As a Transformers fan, I'm just as weird out in the wild as you are. I'm a goof sitting at the computer drawing or writing same way as you. I'm lying on the bed reading comics like you. I'm not professional in any way. Though even if I were a writer of an official Transformers comic, I still wouldn't be godly. Yeah, we put a lot of praise on official writers and artists, and I think too much criticism. Because you know what? I've realized that we're all just the same nerds doing our best to make good stories. It's all just fan fiction. Whether you are popular or not, maybe all you need is just one dear follower to make you happy. Never stop being creative. And hey, you never know where your creativity will take you or how it will change your life. Me doing this Transformers story game has led me to my current partner. The person who just redesigned my profile pic is the person I'm going to marry. Who better than someone who shares the same weird interests?